Greydwarf farms can take forever to build after a tedious grind for resources, and many of them are outdated these days, require repairs and refuels, or simply aren't efficient. Until today, ladies and gentlemen, as I came up with a super simple yet efficient design which is resource friendly and doesn't even require any kind of fire source or maintenance. So let's get right to it. Alright, so the first thing we're gonna do is search for a Greydwarf spawner in the Black Forest. These purple things with roots around it, but I assume you already found one, so let's move on to the next step. So basically, the first thing we want to do is disable this bad boy, so we can easily work on this spawner without getting interfered or annoyed by the Greydwarves. They can even break the spawner, so you want to prevent that at all times. Many people like to build a roof over it, which prevents spawning because the spawner needs daylight, but the easiest way to disable it is to basically dig a little trench right next to it and then just Spartan kick these little fellas into it, as the spawner can only spawn up to 3 Greydwarves at the same time. If it has 3 out there, it will basically stop spawning, so that will be your easiest way to disable it quickly. But after you've done that, it will only take minutes before you can start reaping the reward. So we're gonna take out our pickaxe and we're gonna dig a little trench right underneath the spawner itself. So we have some very nice straight walls around it, let's say. And you don't want to do this too close to the spawner, because if you hit it, you can actually break it. So don't have the Greydwarf nest too close, then you're just gonna start digging down. So right now we're creating a little tunnel underneath the Greydwarf nest, and you want to make sure that this one stays 1 wide. You don't want to start digging to the sides, as this will make it wider and it will basically make it less efficient. You're also going to decide where exactly you want to make your staircase to basically get to this trench, as we're going to make an entrance on one side. So I can just make a little staircase, go all the way down and reap the rewards. And that is basically going to be the end of the spawner. I'm going to make it a little bit lower, as we want to make sure they fall down all the way. You don't want them to get stuck like close to the roots of the spawner itself. This is basically what it looks like from a couple meters away, but now you want to go to the rear of the spawner. You want to stand exactly right here. Take enough rocks with you. Then we're gonna use the elevate terrain. Of course, for that you're gonna need a workbench. So we're gonna place this one on the side temporarily. We're gonna move it elsewhere after we've done this. But then you basically want to elevate the terrain right behind the spawner, at the very edge, let's say, of where the roots extend. So we're just gonna keep doing this until we are above the spawner itself. So we're just gonna have to do a couple more. Let's just do one more to be sure. There we go. And now you also want to do the same on the sides. There we go. So that is basically it. Right now we can level the ground. And this doesn't have to look pretty, by the way. It's just so that the Greydwarves slide all the way down into the trap. And we want to make these walls high enough so the trap doesn't take any damage from sources outside of it, like skeletons shooting arrows towards it or trolls throwing rocks. We definitely don't want that to happen. Now, if you want to protect the farm a little bit extra or make a roof over it, it's going to be pretty easy by just snapping roofs on the side, exactly like so. This will also prevent the spawning if you do it all over the place. But I don't really think this is necessary. You can always go with some wooden flooring as well. Just snap them slightly more to the center. And you can place 3 right next to each other. And look at that. This will basically cover up everything. So now if we go down there, you can see that we've got a spawner right above us, and the roots basically extend all the way to the very edge, to the walls where the Greydwarves will slide down, but they touch it just a little bit. You don't want to overextend it, so it is exactly the width of a wooden floor 2 by 2. We're actually going to place a couple of those right here, so we're just going to stand a little bit away from the wall and just snap the first exactly like so. So it's basically 50% inside the wall. Then we're gonna place 2 more, and then we're gonna place 2 more on this side as well. From there, we're basically gonna start using our staircase. So we're gonna take the wooden stair, the regular one. I'm gonna place it right there. If it's still too steep, you can always just dig away a little bit more. So now you should have something that looks a little bit like this. There we go. Now we've got our walkway all the way down and up into this trench. So that is basically it for the terraforming, the shaping of the spawner, let's say. Right now it's time to make the trap room and make sure that this one is 100% fully functional. So we're going to stand right underneath the trap itself. We're going to take out our hammer, and this was our first half floor, right? Then we have a whole one, the second, the third, and after the third you basically want to place 2 wooden walls. So we're going to do one and a second one right there. We can just jump around this one for a second and do a couple more. 1, 2, 1 and 2. And you can actually stand exactly right here. So we're gonna place a door on both sides. I always take the longer doors as I don't really like the small ones. And then we're just gonna close this up entirely. Then we also want to have a little roof over it. So we basically have a very small little, the size of a toilet, AFK room, let's say. And we want to make these walls a little bit higher. So the creatures don't get annoyed, let's say, if they see us. You can do this your own way. I think it's very simple and efficient to do it just like that. We're gonna break our workbench. We're gonna place our workbench exactly right here. So it's basically safe from harm. And we can close it up. There we go. Then we're just gonna finish up this platform a little bit. And you can make this as simple as you like. I mean, the less resources you use, of course, the cheaper it will be to make. It just has to be efficient and practical. It doesn't have to be fancy. But yeah, just go with whatever floats your boat. I just like to have something that doesn't cost too many resources, and then you can basically stand right on top of it and crouch. That is definitely something I recommend you to do, as otherwise the Greydwarves might see you, and once they start spawning in, they will fall all the way down straight into the killing room. Now, to kill the Greydwarves, this is actually a lot simpler than I thought. You don't have to dig in any braziers under the sand or work with wolves. No. We finally have different types of fish, and thank God, the pufferfish have a very powerful use case. Let me just spawn in one right here. Type in spawnfish 12, then go with the quantity and then the quality. So now we just spawned in 20 pufferfish. I already built this on my survival, so I'm not gonna catch them again. But the next thing you want to have is some nails as well as fine wood. You're gonna need about 20 nails and like 50 to 80 fine wood for this. So what you're gonna do is stand at the very first wooden floor, so the half wooden floor, let's say, away from the door. And what we're gonna do is place 2 exactly in the middle. See that? So we're gonna place one right there. Place one right there, and then we're gonna do exactly the same in between the next 2 floors. So we're gonna place them on the sides. We're gonna do that right here as well. There we go. And then what you're gonna do next is place one in the middle right here, one in the middle on this floor, in the middle once again, and in the middle. I also like to place some on the sides, as you never know, guys. You just want to have them deal damage from all directions. It will make this the deadliest trap ever. So we're just gonna place at this height, let's say, eye height, and then place another one right there. So now we have plenty of item stands. And if we fill these bad boys with the pufferfish, boy, this is gonna be a minefield. The quality of the pufferfish themselves doesn't really matter, by the way. You just want to have the guys that deal the poison. And now we're just gonna press 7. Bam. 7. Bam. And we're just gonna place the mines everywhere. Make sure you don't poison yourself, because I assure you, they hurt. See, I already get damaged right here. So we just want to stand into our little toilet area. And that is basically it. So once we've taken out these 3 bad boys and destroyed the roof over our spawner, it will be fully operational. So the feather cape will make it easier to take the loot right here as well. Quickly close the door. And right now we're just gonna run up there and see what happens. Look at that. 1 Greydwarf already turned to dust. And that is already the second one. So now no sun is blocking the spawner anymore, so it can start doing its job. Poop out those Greydwarves. Sometimes they will block each other from falling all the way down, but that's fine. You're just gonna be patient a little bit. I definitely recommend you to fortify this build a little bit, or at least make a window, so it's going to be even more difficult for the Greydwarves to notice you, as if you just jump right here, it will basically annoy them. And I think the biggest problem is the shamans just healing the 1 and 2 stars. If you're just crouching right here, you can see that everything is just fine, and they're just dying a slow and horrible death because of the pufferfish. But that is basically how it works. You can see that it is super efficient, no mobs get stuck in any way. I'm just gonna fast forward the video so you can see exactly what's happening. But you don't need higher quality pufferfish for this, or campfires, braziers, or anything else. Of course, the pufferfish poison is a little bit slower, but still, you can only spawn in 3 Greydwarves, and they always die 1 by 1. So I think this is gonna be as efficient as just any other spawner, but just so much easier to build. I think we used like 17 pufferfish, and let me just jump down right here so we can see what the loot is right now. You can already gather a little bit of loot if you're just standing right in front of the door, but if you just quickly run in there, you can take everything without a problem as well. Of course, make sure that you eat some snacks before going in, as the pufferfish might otherwise kill you with its poison. Alright, so there you have it, a super simple yet efficient build for a Greydwarf farm to get your hands on all the resources you will ever need. So if you enjoyed watching this video, make sure to hit that like button, as I spent a lot of time working on this one. Let me know in the comments what you think, and of course, a big thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more Valheim. Right now though, it is 4 AM out. I want to wish you an awesome day. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.